Now we know we are recording.
Well, that's good. You were talking about what's your process for preparation?
Oh yeah, like how does it mean, like how do we know that we're ready to start the show?
Yeah.
And I said peeing is number one, like making sure that you have done that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think that's all I can think of.
Peeing, that's all you got.
Yeah. I mean, I for me, it's also like having something to drink.
Mm.
Nope,
Not branded.
Don't look at the brand.
Now you're putting your phone up to reveal your phone.
Well, but nobody knows what my phone is. This is just the phone case. If you can tell what this phone case is, or the phone, I guess, then you know what? You deserve to be advertised to. I don't know.
The Samsung.
Makes sense. No.
Nailed it.
No.
But we're open. My preparation is I like to get in. I like to set up the rundown. I like to go through the stories. I have my green cup of water as always. Turn off the cell phone Wi-Fi. Turn off the
That's good.
The cell phone signal, and then we just go in. Just go in hot.
I think that's fine.
Welcome to Split the Difference. The podcast. I'm Alan.
I'm Whitney.
You wouldn't let me run in. I wanted to run in.
Well, you can still run in.
Well, no, I'll just run out now.
Because he was.
I was running.
No, he was going to the bathroom.
I mean, don't reveal all that. No one knows that I use the restroom.
It goes back to, it's a callback to our earlier conversation of what do you do to get ready for the show? He was going to the bathroom down the hall in that weird space behind his head, otherwise known as his home.
Residence.
That's all I'm saying.
It's episode 0048, okay? Whitney Caps.
That's right.
And I'll tell you, I turned on a little channel called BBC America, and I saw two things that made me very excited.
Okay.
I saw now playing Casino Royale. And following Casino Royale, a little picture we like to call GoldenEye, back to back, back to back. The introductory movies for both Daniel Craig and Pierce Brosnan. And let me tell you something, fan-frickin-tastic movies, okay? Top notch.
Yeah. I haven't seen all of the Daniel Craig ones.
Craigers.
You said that's the first one. So I've definitely seen that one.
Yeah,
I've definitely seen that one. But I haven't seen the other ones. So
the only kind of factoid I'm going to give you about those two movies is that they were,
that's what I really need.
They were directed by the same person, Martin Campbell, who seems to be the go-to when there's a new Bond. We want this director to like direct their first movie. And so I'm sort of excited to know if this is coinky dink or if this person, when there's a new Bond, is going to like direct their first movie. Because right now he's 2 for 2. He's got bangers.
Okay.
So that's all I got for you.
I'm okay with that. I like that nice little tidbit. Little Bond trivia.
Little bonding with you, dare I say. Whitney, what are you drinking? Can you describe without revealing the brand?
It is a lime bubbly water.
Okay, there it is. That's very specific. Just like me. We start off as always with a good old fashioned ranker. Do you want me to rank first, or do you want to go first and rank?
Why don't you give me your ranker first?
Whitney, we are the weekend before Thanksgiving, and it would be an obvious choice to talk about sides and foods. But I'm not going to do that because I am difficult. NordPass, the password manager that's in wide use, came out with their top 200 most frequent used passwords of 2020. Subsequently, these also happen to be the worst passwords of 2020.
That makes sense.
And I'm going to give you the top 5, and I want you to rank of the 5 worst passwords, which is the best password.
The best of the worst.
Correct.
Can you just give me a little bit of insight? How did this how did this list come to be? What was this called from?
So every year, NordPass, the password manager, puts out this list, and it details how many times a password has been exposed, how many times a password's been used, and how much time it would take to crack it. So they would have some background information because people use the service, and you're not attaching names to it, but you see the same password come up over and over again.
And you know that people are dumb.
And they compare it to previous years to see how passwords have changed.
Okay.
And I have to tell you, there is a new entrant into the top 5 that was not there. I think not there on the list last year.
Okay.
In the top 2.
I'm ready.
The passwords are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
No.
Picture 1.
Picture 1, okay.
Password. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are your top 5.
Okay, well, all numbers are the worst of the worst. So let's just, shuffle it up, spit them out. I don't care what order they go in, but the ones that are all numbers. I'm going to say that picture 1 is the best of the worst. So we're giving that one the number 1 spot. And then password 1 is number 2. I thought the whole point of using a system like that was actually so that it randomly, or it suggests very strong passwords for you. Just like, generated random numbers, letters, and characters. I thought that was actually the point.
If you use that feature, that's the point. Generally, NordPass.
No, I didn't think that was a feature. I thought that was the thing.
No, Whitney Caps. Some people just use it to keep all of their passwords in one place.
I mean, that's good too.
Now, if your password is
so
1 through
upset.
6, that's kind of a weak password. It kind of defeats the purpose.
So what do you even need someone to hold on to that for you? Like
that's the thing.
You can't remember the numbers 1 through 6?
Oh, it's baffling. And I will show you here, you and the audience here.
Oh, this is upsetting.
This is your top. And of course, you mentioned the times to crack it, less than a second for most of these.
Yeah. What was it? 3 hours for picture 1? Is that what it says?
Picture 1, totally new to the list.
Okay, good. So that's what I was thinking, is like that picture 1 would take longer to crack. Not that it's particularly a good password, but that you might just save yourself a little bit of time. Or I'm sorry, you might give yourself a little bit of time by using picture 1.
How about password? Which is
I thought it was password. I'm sorry. I thought you said it was password 1. I'm just going to say that's number 2, but it's just as bad as all the numbers.
Okay. Less than a second.
And then the numbers are terrible.
Now, do you have a preference 1 through 6, 1 through 9, and then 1 through 8?
No, I told you. You just put them in a bag, shuffle them up like Scrabble tiles, pull them out. Doesn't matter.
Can I ask you one last question
What
about
is
this?
What is this one, number 10? What does that say?
I was so confused
Senha?
about that. Yeah. What is that about?
SENHA. What does that mean?
What's going on there?
SEN.
I don't know.
Senha meaning it's Portuguese.
Oh, love the Portuguese.
It means password. It means password.
So someone was like, make them think a little bit here.
It means password. No, Alan, it's because people speak Portuguese in other languages.
It's new.
And so for them, the word password is that word.
Let me ask you. Okay. Let me ask you this.
Our Eurocentric way of thinking. Okay, please continue.
Are you surprised, given the frequency of 1 through 6, 1 through 9, and 1 through 8, that 1 through 7 is actually 11th on this list? Kind of sneaky. It's kind of sneaky low.
Yeah, but it's still less than a second.
I understand, but you would think that all of the numbers would be together if they're going to be in sequence.
No. I also like this 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. It's not helpful.
But not to be confused with 7 1s. It's only 6 1s. So you got to factor that in. I'm surprised QWERTY dropped 10 spots from number 2 last year outside the top 10.
Well, it's actually not that easy to type.
That's true. I Love You dropped out of the top. Out of the top 5.
Don't care.
From
It's so stupid.
What is the first password you think is a name?
Like a person's name?
Like related to
name?
like a name. Like it may be a name and some numbers. It is, according to this list, Aaron. Aaron 431 is number 18. Is it
because that list is alphabetical?
No. I mean, clearly not. No. Followed by, I'm going down the list here, Ashley. Just the password Ashley. Then you have Princess, Sunshine. Oh, Pokemon at 51. How about that?
No.
Pokemon Mon.
No.
Catch them all. Got to catch them.
It's terrible. Okay, we're done with your ranker because this just made me angry.
You don't sound very happy at all about this.
I'm just really like, why have that service? Why have that service if you're not going to use the best feature? It should be a feature that okay, never mind. Okay, so my ranker comes from, and this is because last week I actually had 2 rankers just because they both came to me. And I did one of them because I thought it was more timely, which was the types of famous. And
the best ranker in the history of the show.
Thank you. I have another one. I have another one today that comes from the same week, but it's not relevant in the same way, I suppose, but I still think it's really funny. So last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, there was a social media meme that was going around, or vote. I don't know what's the right term, but people around the internet were asking, of these 4 famous Chris's, which one would you get rid of? And it was, I think, Chris Pine, Chris Evans, Chris Pratt, and Chris Hemsworth. Okay. So like a very sort of white masculine section of Chris's, because let's be real, because there's so many Chris's in the world. And, you know, they could have chosen a lot of better Chris's, Tucker Rock right off the top.
Yeah.
And everybody said to get rid of Chris Pratt. I don't know exactly why that was. I think some of it is because he's conservative.
I do believe he stepped into some conservative waters on Twitter.
Yes. And I think he's also part of like a really problematic church, and that's a bit of an issue too. But I think he's also the kind of like, if he's married into the Schwarzenegger, so if he's like Schwarzenegger conservatism, I guess I'm fine with that. Arnold Schwarzenegger seems like a really great guy and a great leader. The Governor. Yeah, I mean I'd take him. That's fine.
What? That's not exactly a rigging endorsement to be.
I'm just saying like if there was one like weird celebrity guy conservative that I would want to be president, Arnold Schwarzenegger would probably do a really good job. I just disagree with him. I don't think he's like incompetent or I don't know, like maliciously negligent. I just think that he's conservative, and I just don't agree with many conservative policies. So anyway, oh my God, wait, that just made me think, have you seen the video of Arnold Schwarzenegger? He was campaigning somewhere and he was walking through a crowd of people and someone threw an egg at him. Have you seen this video?
I don't think I remember this video at all.
Oh my gosh. This was when he was running for governor of California. So when was that?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. But he was running, I think he was running for governor of California, and he was wearing a jacket and maybe a polo shirt or something. He was just being very cash, and everybody loved him and was so excited to see him. And someone threw an egg and it hit him and broke, of course, and made a mess on his jacket.
Oh, he ripped the jacket off.
Without skipping a beat. Just takes the jacket off, slings it over his shoulder, or maybe gives it to an aide to hold on to, and just keeps like shaking people's hands. And I think he said something like, "Oh, I wish they would throw some bacon." Like, badass. He's untrollable. Anyway,
I'm looking at it now here.
It's good. It's a good one. So this ranker was made in the spirit of that. That was a very long story to get to where we are right now. And so I thought I would ask you to rank for me, not to get rid of one, because that was the original meme. Was like, You have these 4 basic white guy Chris's. You have to get rid of one of them. By the way, who the fuck is Chris Pine? What?
Oh, wait. You don't like Chris Pine?
I just don't. His face is weird looking. Also, Chris Evans, bye. Captain America is the most boring in the Marvel universe.
Wait,
Okay.
are all these Chris's in the Marvel universe? Because I think the answer for
I
Chris
don't think Pine is.
Pine. Oh no, he's in the superhuman universe because he's in DC.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
he's Wonder Woman.
He's Wonder Woman?
He's in the Wonder Woman universe.
Okay, but he's not Wonder Woman.
Not to my knowledge, no. Not yet.
Got it. Okay, so I'm going to give you some Chris's, and you need to rank them from worst Chris to best Chris.
Okay, here we go.
Ready?
I'm ready for this. My pencil in hand.
Chris Christie.
Okay.
Christina Aguilera.
Wow.
Christmas.
Okay.
Ludacris.
Okay.
And the gene editing technology, CRISPR.
Excuse me?
The gene editing technology,
Okay.
CRISPR.
Got it.
Those are your Chris's.
Got it.
You need to rank them.
Okay. This is a solid list.
Thank you.
This is a solid list.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to tell you at number 5. I'm going to put Chris Christie. And
Okay.
this was not easy
Okay.
because number 4 is Christmas. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I actually thought number 5 for you might have been Christmas.
And it was close. And it was close.
Now, I had also played around with Christianity. Would that have made it to the worst spot?
I'm not here to talk about religion on the
Okay,
podcast,
so Chris Christie, tell us about Chris Christie.
I mean, so here's the thing. The problem with Chris Christie is that he does have moments only when backed into a corner where he becomes useful and actually like stands up for his beliefs. But most of the time he's just against very obvious things like his own beliefs and being reasonable. And then everyone's making fun of him because they're like, yo, you're being played, like you're joining the Trump administration, or you don't believe in COVID, and then you got it, and it's like, oh, this is very serious. I'm like, oh my gosh. Or that one time he hugged Barack Obama after the snowstorm or whatever. Christmas, and I want to be very clear here, for when, 10 years from now, this is taken out of context. I want to be very clear.
Okay.
I'm talking about the commercialization of Christmas. Also, when the nickname is Xmas, that's kind of cool. Kind of dicey. You're going to be as high as 4th on my list. It's going to be as high as 4th on my list.
Okay.
Christmas as a thing, like giving gifts, I don't like it. I don't like it. It makes a lot of people happy. We talked about it a couple episodes ago. How Christmas is the happiest day for people based on kind of online traffic. And it's like, honestly, been there, done that. I mean, you can give gifts any time of the year. So Christmas is 4th, barely above Chris Christie. Okay.
Okay.
Now we get into some real good stuff here.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you something right here. Christina Aguilera
is number 3.
I think.
Okay.
Is going to slot in at number 3.
Okay.
I really like Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
Okay. I am a big
very talented
fan of her work.
Yes.
Isn't she on one of these kind of singing shows currently? Or was she on a singing show? Voice, one of the things that turns around
like a
chairs.
judge.
Wasn't she a judge on one of these shows?
Yes, I believe
that
hurts.
So. That hurts her.
Well, but it's also, I don't know. The evolution of an artist is the next thing is to mentor talent or to become a producer or to get more wealth built in. I don't know that necessarily is against her.
I think it's against her relative to the 2 things above her.
Okay.
I would want her to be in a situation where she isn't on stage with other people because I think she is probably the biggest star on the stage.
I understood.
And like you're on network, like put that thing, if you really want to do the work, put that thing on like HBO or Showtime or something where you can like curse and like really
or the one, what was it called? The one that was on Netflix with Cardi B and Chance and
Sure, that thing. Yeah.
That was a good show.
Like give me a little something. So Aguilera is
all right.
Is 3.
All right.
I'm going to tell you.
And Ludacris. That's what you have left.
Ludacris was going to be my number one. And Ludacris,
then,
well, I looked up a little bit more about CRISPR
okay.
and genetic engineering.
Yes.
Dicey stuff here, okay?
Dicey stuff.
That said, the technique, Nobel Prize in chemistry, a little something we like to call 2020. What have you done for me lately? I'm going to say Luda is going to be 2. Now, here's the deal about Ludacris. Has parlayed an incredibly successful DJ career to a multi-platinum artist, to a very short but successful movie star, and a set of really awful movies.
It's not short. He was just in the stupid John Henry thing that we had to talk about on Blurred Out Radio. Oh, yep.
Also,
I can't argue.
Also, I mean, like, listen, no. He's in movies. He gets work. Are we happy about the movies? I'm not a big Fast and Furious guy. He's number 2.
Okay.
That said, I was doing workout at home with some Ludacris. The guy had bangers. The guy had.
Oh yes. Bangers.
I mean, like, you kind of forget just how many he had.
Oh yes.
And so I'm going to say CRISPR's number 1 in the "What have you done for me lately" category. Actually, getting things done, right? You know, you're thinking about bacterial phalanges. You know, I think about.
That's
about
exactly
CRISPR.
what I think about.
And just to close the loop here, that egg video was from 2003. It was barely in the odds. It was a while ago.
That's a long time ago.
He wanted that bacon with it. So that's my list. I'm going to go CRISPR, Ludacris, Christina Aguilera, Xmas, and then the former governor who shuts down bridges. Got
it. I wanted to slide in there. I was trying to look on the internet, see if I could find this picture. Chris Bridges, aka Ludacris.
I'm surprised you didn't go with the Chris Bridges.
Chris Bridges. Yeah. Well, I just figured I don't know. So Chris Bridges went to my high school, and or his freshman year, he went to my high school, and he was on the gymnastics team. And there is a very choice picture of him from the yearbook, like doing the rings. Very hard event. Just like, you know, like a dude, but also very short, you know? So I just thought I'd share that. I was hoping I could find the picture. I can't.
How old is Chris Bridges, if you were to take?
I mean, he's older than me. He didn't go to the school when I went there. But I just remember when he became famous, people were like, hey, he went here for like half a year. And like, you know, people were excited about that.
What do you think he is? I have the answer, and I was a little surprised.
Oh, I'm sorry. How old do I actually think he is? I think he is 47 years old.
Okay, so I thought he was older too. He's 43.
43. Okay.
A recent 43.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, but I also just want to be really clear. I always do a little bit of rounding up for Black people that look like they've taken care of themselves. You know, like just on the basic, not smoked every single cigarette in the world, gone for a walk a day. You know, those kinds of. It doesn't take much, is what I'm trying to say.
Listen, well, you're going to be a leader of the 1998 DTP. You got to make sure you take care of yourself. I'm on board.
Anyway.
Whitney, we are in the middle.
How is that ranker? How does that ranker rank?
Listen, you set a high
bar. Not better
bar.
than my fame, though.
No. I mean, just.
Yeah. All right. I set the bar pretty high.
I like the creativity of the ranker. I like the flexibility. You gave me a
It would have been good if I had done it on the actual week when that was a thing.
A little bit.
But
here's the thing, you hit me with the fame one. I mean, there's no bad time to do that because it's the gold standard. So.
Well, but I wanted to do it. I guess that's true. I wanted to do it because Alex Trebek had passed away.
Wow.
Because he is the household name, beloved household name. Also, LeVar Burton, which, like, I'm really sorry you did not grow up with LeVar Burton.
I have no idea who that is.
So delightful. So I knew him from reading Rainbow fame, obvi, because I was loved as a child.
I was gonna say a well-adjusted child.
But also my mom is a big Star Trek person, and so he was Geordi LaForge, Star Trek Next Generation. I had a pretty big crush on him. That's all I have to say.
I have a very wait. All of that was inspired by Alex Trebek's death.
Well, because I had sent you something
Right.
about LeVar Burton potentially being the replacement for Alex Trebek on Jeopardy, which is also, I mean, it's the same level of fame. LeVar Burton is beloved household name.
Was.
But I'm saying, like, it's the same. What do you mean was? Is LeVar Burton dead?
No, I mean, was household fame. LeVar and Trebek were not.
You can't say stuff like that. This is 2020. You don't know. Don't say things like that.
Can I say something like this? Speaking of death, COVID-19 is through the roof. As there's spikes all over the place.
That's the next one.
Hospitalizations are as sky high as we go into the holiday season. And when hospitalizations are up, deaths are going to be up coming soon. But we have good news for some. Maybe not Trump, he would have wanted this a little bit earlier. But Pfizer and Moderna have had some successful, at least tests of vaccines, at reporting somewhere between 90 and then suddenly 95% effectiveness, which is great because the sooner we get a vaccine, the sooner we can open things up. But then there's a question out there, which Vox kind of took up, which was who should get the vaccine first? And they highlighted that medical ethicists are having a really tough time debating who should get the vaccine and under what circumstances. And I think there's two levels I think we should go into this conversation. The first that they mention and kind of dismiss quickly is this idea of vaccine nationalism, which is that the country that develops it first should look out for itself and vaccinate its people first, and then share it with the world versus a more global approach. And so I want to, at least for this, start there, Whitney, with how do you navigate this question of who should come first with respect to a nation and the rest of the world for something like a pandemic?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I'm not 100% sure, but both of these are American-based companies. Is that correct?
That's right.
It doesn't mean all of the research was done in America or even using American grant dollars. I know that the team at Pfizer, they're German or Russian or something, maybe both. And it's not, to say that it is an American-based company doesn't actually capture that a lot of this is a worldwide effort. And so I can't really, I think even just on that front, I don't think I can get behind this sort of nationalistic point of view too, because what that essentially means is that the determining factor is who owns it as opposed to who created it. Right. Because it's not all American made. These are just American companies. And I mean, I think just in general, I think that's bullshit. I just think the idea that because it's an American company, Americans should get first dibs. I mean, I think it's the same flawed mentality that brought us Trumpism. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't take into account the globalized nature of the world. Like even if we were only vaccinating Americans, that wouldn't work. It just wouldn't. The pandemic would continue to rage in other countries. It would probably still be an issue here at home because of the amount of international travel that Americans do, and the amount of travel that, people coming to this country. I don't see it as being a good way to actually tackle the problem, besides the moral issue, which of course I just disagree with.
It's really, I think, striking because it seems to be that's the exact path that the U.S. is on. Yeah. I think mid-September was the deadline for the global COVAX facility, which is a set of it's a financing mechanism to support kind of figuring out a vaccine for the world. Mm-hmm. You had over 150 countries sign up to be a part of COVAX, and the United States was not one of them. And so that
shocker.
it's, what is it? Pfizer asked for emergency usage authorization from the FDA to kind of produce this. And I think I agree with you that morally it seems kind of harsh
Yeah. Oh yeah.
to say we're going to have this vaccine that we know the rest of the world needs, and we're going to make sure that we mass produce it in a way to take care of our people.
Yeah.
It's also, I think, one of these kind of dark moments where there are a lot of people in this country that are thinking about me today, my business, my livelihood, my kids haven't been in school. And there is, I think, there's probably, I would say, more, there's more of a sentiment behind that type of kind of, and I don't mean this in a judgmental way, but myopic view of developing something for us singularly that puts people, frankly, in line with Trump versus, say, others. And I think that is a tension here.
Yeah. I mean, there's also a lot of just logistical challenges too when thinking about who will have access first, simply because of the nature of these vaccines, and they are quite different. The Pfizer vaccine requires a much lower storage point, temperature storage point. So it needs to be kept at a degree that's maybe not the easiest for someone trying to get the vaccine to rural neighborhoods. I mean, I remember hearing about these, just like a volunteer corps of little scooter enthusiasts that were taking vaccines to like inner reaches of, jungle areas or, rural communities that are really far out in a number of different nations. And that is relied on in a lot of ways for what we think of as traditional, administration of vaccines. It's not possible for some of these smaller couriers or smaller communities to get people vaccinated simply because it's a bit of a challenge. The Moderna vaccine doesn't have those same issues. It is it's a higher temperature point that needs to be kept at. It can be kept in like a standard medical cooler. But that's a big question too, is like, there's going to be a ton of money being pushed towards, the development of the vaccine, getting it out to people.
Yeah.
The people who then need it from these far or flung communities will probably be the last that someone invests in. Like, nobody's going to invest in a new type of cooler that this can be transported in.
That's right.
Because there's not a high value placed on those kinds of lives.
I think we both are in agreement on kind of pushing back, as does the piece make a case where medical ethicists are against the nationalism standpoint. I think a more maybe intense conversation is, what do we mean by fair? And that's what the piece talked about. And it's this question of equality versus equity. WHO, the World Health Organization, is building out an equality-based approach through COVAX. And so the idea, I do believe, is that they will develop the vaccine and then slowly roll out to all countries, aiming to cover 3% of the population, and then will rise to 4% of the population as they go until they hit around 20%. Of each country's population. So very, very steady, the US and all of its people, and Trinidad and Tobago with not as many people, will have the same 3%.
Right.
There are others that kind of advocate for a more equity-based approach. So the fair allocation framework. One of the representatives of that is Ezekiel Emanuel at UPenn, which is to focus on distribution based on the people that are more disproportionately impacted, the countries that are dealing with a harder surge in COVID-19. He makes the argument that you wouldn't go into an ER and give everyone 5 minutes if you were a doctor, if someone's like bleeding out profusely versus someone who is like broken their wrist.
Right.
And that's compelling. And it seems like one of the things that's holding that idea back is pragmatism. Yes, we want everyone to have this, but if you're telling me that I may not get this access to the vaccine until next November because we're relatively well off compared to other places, I may not be willing to pump in money. I may want to go it alone.
Yeah.
Where do you fall on this in this broad kind of spectrum of equality and equity for this?
It's such a good question. It's such a good question because I even think about this on sort of a micro level too, about who's most at risk, even in those countries that are experiencing a surge. So the United States is a good example, but let's take like Italy, for example, which is experiencing another huge surge, this time in the southern area within the country. There's a question then of like, well, who is in most danger of potentially getting highly injured or of dying? So that might be older people, or it might be, I mean, we know in this country that folks who are ethnic minority are more likely to die and get serious cases of COVID. So does that mean that a Black person gets vaccinated before a white person of the same age in the same bracket? Like, is that actually what we're talking about too? Because that would make a lot of sense to me. If we're actually trying to talk about it from an equity standpoint, we need to then think about not just which nations are experiencing surges or which areas geographically, but also like which types of people. Another group of people that I've heard people talk about is like, these people should be first in line. Healthcare workers.
Right.
A lot of healthcare workers have gotten seriously injured or died because of their proximity to patients, and the amount of exposure to the virus is severe when you're working with these patients and you don't have adequate PPE. That's right. Which is the case for a lot of medical professionals, at least here in this country. And so then I think you really have to think about those deeper issues. I think about, like, again, who should be first in line. I think my instinct does go a little bit more towards the equity model, which is that different populations, different locations, different countries are hurting more than others. And that it makes the most sense to me to use the data that we've collected to address those hotspots first. Especially because, to me, the hotspots and what we've seen, especially in this country, is that a hotspot will not be contained for long. It may be contained for, I don't know, like 3 weeks. But then at a certain point, like, the hotspots migrate because people migrate. And so I think to me, the idea is, again, I like that analogy. It's like, if you are, tending to an issue, you triage it. You decide what is the most necessary thing for me to do here to stave off the worst of the damage. And to me, that seems best. But again, I also do really understand the equality mode too. Like, every country needs to have some allocation that they can then see fit to do with what they want. It's just a really hard question.
I think one of the dangerous pieces about the question, and it's kind of a gross thing to think about, but I think in many cases we have a lot of evidence that this is these are part and parcel, is that the equality model seems to be recognizing, I guess what people would say are the pragmatic challenges.
Right.
And you don't usually associate something like equality with pragmatic challenges, because as a value, it should be kind of collective. Mm-hmm. But when you, and I think the pragmatism at play is the reality that one of these models, the equity model, is focused on the actual lives at risk, the health of people at risk with respect to contracting and dying from COVID-19.
Right.
I think that is explicitly the focus. And from that standpoint, like, you and I think, are on the same page.
Yeah.
Not realistically, but alternatively, when people, let's say in the United States, make the argument, or we can take it even in Chicago, right? We were told to listen to the doctors, but there was a point where the financial pressures, the raising of youth pressures, the work pressures became overwhelming. And then you had a situation where the science said, we need to close down a month ago, 2 months ago, but we didn't, because there was this fear of businesses being lost and livelihoods being lost. And do we want to have another year plus of kids not in classrooms, and we don't have the technology and blah, blah, blah. And it seems like that equality model, is really in tune to this allegiance to solve a vaccine for COVID-19 is a precarious one. And the second when one of these places or entities has this vaccine, there's a temptation to go out and break from the compact and say, we'll buy this. Larry Hogan from Maryland bought almost $10 million worth of COVID tests that went unused because they weren't the right tests. Like there was a sense of these geographic regions would then independently break away if they saw the opportunity to, I don't want to say get to the front of the line, but if it was, we can get some N95s here faster, we can get some ventilators here faster.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
take care of my people.
That's an interesting thing to think about too, of course, because that is, I think, a symptom of the lack of just overall structure and leadership around this kind of stuff. And I can't imagine that we would see any different when it comes to vaccine. Although, of course, with the new administration coming in, there may be a very different attitude. I think it would be great if that was happening sooner, because I think in as much as it seems like, well, it's only a couple months, how far down the road could we really get? I actually feel like it probably is pretty far down the road when it comes to the development of these and the allocation and things like that. So that's really interesting. Hey, Alan.
Hey, Whitney.
Will you take a vaccine?
Yes, and I should reveal here that I've tried to be a part of some clinical trials already. And I think, and actually we're recording this on the 21st of November. There was a piece in the Chicago Sun-Times on the 20th of November that talked about one of the issues you raised was in the most vulnerable communities, so Black and brown communities, where the infection rates are higher, the death rates are higher. These communities are expressing the most skepticism in taking a vaccination because of a long, rich history of the medical profession, and in some cases the medical profession along with the federal government manipulating and oftentimes hurting these exact same communities, which creates this kind of bubbling up problem of you need to make sure these vaccines work across a wide range of people. And you're relying on medical professionals saying, we have an open call out, we need people, we need to draw blood, we need to try this. And I can't say that I can fault someone for being a wee bit skeptical on being on board with vaccine development when the same entities may be a part of the disproportionate health disparities that these communities face when there's not a pandemic. So I've tried to be a part of these, and I would take one if my doctor said it was okay and that this wasn't some kind of rush thing and we're not sure. I think that would be a factor, but I think that's going to be an increasingly difficult challenge, particularly for the equity model, even within places of, okay, we have allocated for these communities to get it. And what happens if they say no or they're resistant? And you have a set of people saying, we want to take this. We need to take this. That's where you start to get the pressures, the moral hazards on the leaders to say, can I tell folks to be patient when we will be doing this dance for over a year? I don't know. Would you take a vaccine?
I would lean a little bit more towards the Moderna version. And it's only because I think, to your point about who's involved in the testing, is it tested on lots of different types of people? There is a wider set of identifiers for people in the Moderna set. More people of varying ages, more people of ethnic backgrounds. The Pfizer one is very homogenous in terms of the types of people, probably to your point about, I don't know that I'm not trying to make any indictment on Pfizer. I think that they probably would have wanted a more robust sample of people or participant pool, but it's harder. Moderna is a younger organization. I think there's probably less skepticism. Pfizer is definitely a big name, a lot of history and a lot of skepticism around it. So my guess would be that Moderna was able to get a better breadth of participants because they haven't actually been around that long. This will be their first patent if they are able to get patents, maybe not the right word, but this will be their first commodity that's probably not the right word either. So it's definitely, I feel like I would be more inclined to take that one simply because I think there would be more people like me who are participating. So a broader understanding of how this affects different types of people. But again, I think same thing. If my doctor said, I've taken this, I would have my kids take this, I would have my husband take this, like I would probably take it.
I think it certainly does relate to the sense of needing to have experts that you trust and processes and procedures in place to make sure that the development, the distribution, and ultimately the delivery, that they're like people that are held accountable for that.
Yeah.
Speaking of accountability.
So good, Alan. So good.
So good.
That was
it was an easy one. I kind of forced that accountability in there. Harvard, the VOD, the home of the Argyle sweater vest, is embroiled in a different kind of free speech, Trump-related concern. There's a massive petition. We don't actually know the names of the people on the petition, which should be noted, but there's a massive petition that has been circulated that demands that individuals related to the Trump administration are held accountable in some way before they are invited to campus to speak. And this has really riled up a lot of people. And I should say, just to set this up a little bit more, that people that are signing on to the letter are suggesting that through Trump's refusals to concede in the presidential election, members of his administration are widely sharing falsehoods about voter fraud.
Yeah.
The total flouting of democratic norms across the board, that these values are not just antithetical to, detailed and thought and fact-based inquiry that Harvard shares, but are actively bad for the world.
Yeah.
And there's a sense that whatever it looks like to be held accountable, that there's some kind of process that they want people that sign on for it to be transparent to the students and staff and faculty on what's happening before these speakers get here. Are they made to justify or explain their actions prior to just giving them a platform at this institution? That's I think a really different approach to what this could look like. Whitney, was this appealing to you, or did it seem kind of like pie in the sky, vague, and not worthy of pursuing?
Well, I think part of it is there's a level of frustration that a lot of people feel with just feeling like these people have flouted, stomped on, completely disregarded the rights of people, besides the whole democratic norms thing, that these are very bad people who did very bad things, and that there won't be any justice in accordance with that. A really good example that comes to mind for me is like the Chad Wolf, the acting head of oh my gosh, what is it called? Immigration and Customs Enforcement? No, I'm sorry, Homeland Security.
Yep, Department of Homeland Security.
Department of Homeland Security, I'm sorry. That he was found to be illegally acting as the head of that department, and nothing happened. He was removed, but nothing that he did was undone. There are people who, and I this is just terrible because I can't, this sounds like crazy liberal exaggeration, but people's lives were irrevocably harmed because of things that he did, and that he will never be held to account for that. That's just the example that comes to mind. There's so many other ones. And I think that this may be a little bit of grasping at straws to hold some kind of accountability over these people who have done objectively bad things. It's not partisan to say you shouldn't be in charge of something if you're legally not allowed to be in charge. That's not objectively bad.
Sure.
That's That's the way our government is supposed to work. And he was put in place. I mean, again, I'm just like running out this analogy here, but like they didn't care. It didn't matter whether or not he was legally installed in that position or not. It didn't matter. And there's a part of me that's like, this is not enforceable because to what degree of like Trump administration, like are these people who were part of the campaign? Are these just people generally that we could say are in Trump's orbit? Is this his family? Is this like, I just think this is really unenforceable. But I do think there's something to be said for an institution like, for example, the Institute of Politics at Harvard to say, this is going to be our policy on inviting any of these people in, from here on out. They may go through extra scrutiny. We may make sure that they're not allowed a singular voice, that there will always be a voice to challenge them when it comes to inviting them on campus. Like they're not allowed to be there by themselves. They're there with someone from the Institute of Politics running the show and dictating how that conversation will go. I think it just sets standards. I think it's Harvard saying like, we want there to be, if we adopt this, we as an organization are choosing to enforce some kind of standards over the types of people and the types of messaging that we allow on this campus. Now, something like a student organization who feels like they want to invite Don Jr. to come in and talk about ethical hunting. I don't think there's any way that Harvard would be able to police something like that either, because I mean, that would be a little bit of more, I think, infringement of free speech grounds. But yeah, I mean, I like this idea. I just think this is unenforceable.
I think this is incredibly clever, and I really like this idea. And it's clever from the standpoint of there's a piece in the Washington Post about the letter, and I'm reading the letter. So let me at first address your question about who.
Yeah.
And this is quoting from the letter itself, and we can include a link here when you watch this, and then you can also go to our YouTube page.
That's right.
Quoting from the letter. We acknowledge this situation is nuanced, as many appointees and career officials chose to join the administration to pursue the public good in spite of these norm violations. Others might claim to have upheld these norms from within. We are simply asking the school to create and share with students transparent guidelines of accountability that ensure its full commitment to the principles American democracy is built upon. And I think the clever part is apparently this started as a letter to ban Trump appointees from going to Harvard, and that wasn't going to fly. Like that, like everyone knows, as much as they might not want that to happen, that no institution is going to be on board. That the toned down language is not even suggesting what the accountability protocols are.
Yeah,
it is simply saying again. From the letter, quote, Harvard should stand firm with its shared commitment to a just Harvard and a just world, to free and honest inquiry in the unfettered pursuit of truth, the right to vote, a free and independent press, checks and balances, the peaceful transfer of power, and the rule of law with equal justice for all, close quote. Those are shared values that are pretty clear on Harvard's campus. And so when you have someone that's alleging that primarily in black cities, that we should throw out these votes, that every Secretary of State is saying these are legally cast, when you have someone that is openly lying about phone calls to Ukraine, phone calls and deals with Russia, if you're dealing with, say, a press secretary who may be who is a Harvard law graduate, who gets up every day and lies about things, if those are the values and the standards, then I think this kind of language of you come up with, Harvard and your people, some standard of accountability if these people knowingly did violate this, then like how you want to build this, I think is a clever rhetorical move by the petition writers, because it takes the onus off of them coming up with 5 points and everyone fighting about that, and giving it to you and your lawyers and the president of the institution and everyone come up with it.
Right.
But
People
these
whose
are the
job
values,
it
this
is
works.
to figure out how this stuff works. Hey,
Yeah.
baby, do your job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I like that too. But then again, that for me makes or begs the question, like, okay, so you enforce it how? And again, if you knowingly sort of buck those norms or actively tear them down, like, is that then on the onus of the university to prove that? But again, I think that this is about like the leadership of again, I'm using the example of the Institute of Politics of
That's
Harvard,
right.
not like the young Republicans of Harvard or whatever the fuck. I don't care what they do. What I'm thinking more about is like someone who is, and I think about this like with the Institute of Politics at the University of Chicago, right? There was a whole slew of people really thinking about what would be a diverse, broad breadth of speakers every year to come and participate, and in what formats, right? There's a reason why a David Axelrod is allowed to come and just say whatever he wants in whatever format. You wouldn't necessarily give that free rein to someone who maybe you wanted to have more control over how their message was couched, not what they say, but is there a counter voice present? Is there someone to fact check? And again, that's what I think that you need for these people. I'm not saying shut them up entirely. I'm saying there should be some sort of control that the university exerts because they have standards, not because they hate these people and they're wrong. But again, to your point, these are standards that I think everyone on the campus of Harvard can at least say that they uphold. So it is an interesting question. I just still feel like, and how is this going to be enforced? I think if I were a student at Harvard, I would sign this petition. And if I were a faculty member, I would support this. I mean, I guess I could still sign it as a faculty member. I think I would support this position because I think that would make me feel safe and heard and present, and that my organization, the organization that I was affiliated with, was taking this seriously. I think the more we have institutions that actually step up and say, we're not going to allow you space for your narrative without some other check or balance and again, I think most of these people should just not be allowed to speak in public again. That's my personal belief. And it's not, that's not American. So they're allowed to say things. They're allowed to continue to lie. They're allowed to continue to pull at the errant strings that are holding our democracy together until they all fall apart. They're allowed to do that. I don't think anyone should give them any room to do so.
I think your point about how to enforce it is the biggest problem. I think there's no two ways around it. And I think if it came out to the fact that if you come here to do an event, that part of the deal may be someone is allowed to ask you. You may not want to answer them, but you are allowed to be asked to address, I don't want to say atone necessarily, but address these issues. Because I think you and I both see folks like Sean Spicer, who sat up there and lied to the American people every day. And he gets fired. Yeah. Got a book. He's going on Ellen. He's going on
Dancing
Colbert.
With the Stars.
Scaramucci. He was there for what, 2.5 weeks? Lied as 2.5 weeks. Now he's a contributor in CNN. And I think those are the pieces where it's like, so you were yelling at these folks the whole time. They were undermining things, and 2.5 weeks later, chief contributor, like that, I think is the piece. And so if it even came down to something like you're saying, you let people in, but part of the condition is someone's going to have to ask you these questions.
Yes.
About what the hell you were doing.
Yeah, and that you don't get unfettered access to these ears.
Yeah.
You get slightly fettered access by how we define the values of this institution and how it supports democracy. I think there are examples. I mean, an example that comes to mind for me of somebody that again would be a bit, Well, you know what? I actually don't know because I don't know if he's an appointee. Chris Krebs, who just got fired from the Trump administration, also Department of Homeland Security. Chris Krebs is the guy that got fired because he said this was a secure election.
Yes,
Department of
Homeland Security.
Yeah, but like cyber crimes or whatever. Essentially, I believe his team was installed as a result of what was present in the 2016 election, the foreign interference that was present. And so I don't believe that I don't know if he was a Trump appointee or not, but I think he could be one of those people that you look at and you go, well, he's tarnished because he was a part of it. He was there. He was present. But he might have a very, very interesting story to tell, but he's not allowed to not tell that story.
Sure.
If he's invited, he has to actually tell the story of what was going on. He has to be honest about what was happening. And again, to your point, perhaps answer some hard questions from somebody. But, you know, I could see him being a wonderful speaker to come and talk about elections and to talk about security and talk about increased globalization. And, you know, those kinds of things are really important. And I wouldn't want him to not be able to participate. You know, another example that comes up to me too is when I think about like all these judges that they've appointed.
Yes.
Just because they were appointed by the Trump administration doesn't mean they're terrible judges, or doesn't mean they shouldn't have the opportunity to share their perspective, even if they're like stupid Confederate or not Confederate.
Whoa.
That's not what I meant. They're stupid Federalist Society people or whatever. Because all that's racist and stupid. I just think that there will be people that we want to hear from this administration. There are people who can continue to help us learn lessons, either because they can model good behavior in the case of Krebs, like really just being honest and transparent and real about what his findings were. Mm-hmm. You know, or again, one of these stupid Federalist, I mean, it really does feel like Confederate when I say it. These Federalist judges.
And some of the policies.
Federalist Society. Isn't that what it's called? Federalist
It
Society?
is. It is.
I don't care. I hate them.
There's certainly a lot of hate to go around, a lot of debate, a lot of consternation.
It's true.
To that end, it's infuriating, but
no.
Whitney, we're gonna play a game.
As a 3.5. Okay, let me get this screen up because I have been asked to take a quiz. I guess we're both going to take it. Are we both taking it together?
I think we're going to go question by question.
And we have to agree on the answer?
I don't think so. Oh, look at that first question. Oh, no.
Tease this out.
This was sent in to us. Thanksgiving's around the corner. I'm not a big Buzzfeed quiz person. But this was sent as a topic that would be great for us to talk about.
Oh, somebody sent this to us.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, person who sent this.
Oh, exactly. I mean, listen, people can always get in touch with the show. Split the diff at gmail.com.
I like it.
And
anybody just listening, you'll have to go to this this quiz. I guess we'll read it as we go through, but wow.
Yeah, it's a BuzzFeed quiz on polarizing food questions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's the first question on here, and I think we should go question by question. Okay. We should talk it out and then determine an answer. And we may not agree, but I think we can see what the general public thinks.
Okay.
And I think we should just kind of play this quiz.
Okay. So here we go. The first question, is cheesecake a cake?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Whitney, I don't know why it gets the cake designation. It's a pie more than anything else.
It is a pie. I was just thinking about that. In my head, I was like, oh, it's definitely a cake because you have to bake it and it rises. And then I was like, oh, but what is this delightful yumminess here at the bottom? It is a graham cracker crust.
That's it.
A crust is not a thing that is on a cake. So I agree with you. We're going to say heck no.
Whoa!
66% of people said that a cheesecake is a cake.
That's ridiculous.
These people are wrong.
They're apparently loud wrong. They're apparently loud wrong. That's insane.
Oh, okay.
I like where we're going here. Oh, this is the
next one. Okay, is a hot dog a sandwich? I'm going yes.
Oh, why?
Yes. Okay, so So a sandwich is by definition something between two pieces of bread.
Sure.
That's a hot dog. A hot dog is between two pieces of bread.
No. Whitney, I can see that this amateur hour for you. A sandwich, in my mind, is something in between two pieces of separated bread. And I think for me, the hot dog is in between in a bun, but that bun is in fact one piece of bread. And that for me makes it not a sandwich, like a taco, not a sandwich.
Okay, question. Falafel sandwich in a pita. Sandwich? Sandwich, Alan?
Now,
Alan, sandwich?
Hold on. I think there's a loose language here. I would not. I wouldn't call it a sandwich. I would call it a falafel pita.
It's the same kind of sandwich that a pita sandwich is.
I'd call it a
if a pita sandwich is a sandwich, then a hot dog is also a sandwich.
A hot dog's not a sandwich.
Well, and I think we also need to be very clear. A hot dog refers to the link itself. Because if you're eating a hot dog without a bun, you are still eating a hot dog.
This is correct.
We should be calling them hot dog sandwiches.
Oh, God.
Okay?
You're going to go yes.
Yes. Oh, these people are stupid.
I mean, faith restored. Faith restored.
27% of people agree with me saying yes, a hot dog is a sandwich. 73% are wrong and stupid like Alan and probably breathe through their mouths when they sleep. Okay. Is white chocolate? No.
I don't think so it is. I don't think so either. I think we're on the same page here. This is insane.
Why is everyone so
What
dumb?
is white chocolate? What is it?
White chocolate, what is it made out of? Ooh, that's a good question. Let me get on the Google machine.
I typed it in wrong. It says it's a chocolate confection.
But it's not made with cocoa.
Pale and made from cocoa butter, sugar, milk solids, and sometimes vanilla. White chocolate does not contain cocoa solids, which are found in other types of chocolate.
I believe you're supposed to pronounce that cacao. I believe cocoa, what you're saying, is the plant from which they make cocaine.
Cacao, even better.
Cacao. Cacao.
My apologies.
Okay, these people are dumb. I hate all these people.
Oh, look at this next question. This is a stupid question. It's fundamentally a stupid question.
A soup?
It's fundamentally a stupid question.
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
Because cereal refers to, again, I think this is a semantic thing. Maybe semantic's not the right word here. It's a language issue. So cereal actually refers to, like, each one of these Fruit Loops is a piece of cereal. Cereal refers to like a grain that is made out of, which is why hot cereal, like oatmeal, is also cereal. And it obviously you eat hot cereal quite differently than you eat cold cereal. And you're still eating cereal when there's no milk in it. You're not eating Italian wedding soup when you're just eating some meatballs, pasta, and kale. Right? So we're going to say no.
I agree that it's no.
No. Okay, good. Also, who are the 7% of people?
Who are the wait, Caps, real quick.
Yes.
Milk first, cereal second, cereal first, milk second.
No, and honestly, I don't begrudge people that do milk first. I think for me, it's just, I'm not very good at volumes. So if I were to put the milk in first and then I put the cereal in, I would either have too much milk. I don't think I would ever be able to get it right.
You're such a nerd. I'm not good with
I'm just
volumes.
really bad at it. I'm not good at volumes. Like I don't know how much is supposed to go in where. You can show me like, this is a cup. And I'd be like, okay, I got it. Yes, this is a cup. And then you could show it to me like 2 minutes later and be like, I don't know what that is. Okay. Is a calzone a dumpling?
This is a spectacular question.
And a calzone, I used to get them all the time in college.
I think it is.
Calzone is essentially meats and cheeses wrapped up in pizza dough and baked. It's basically a pizza, but it's wrapped up.
Yeah, exactly. And like, what is a dumpling? A dumpling can be steamed, it can be fried, presumably it can be baked. It's just something.
I think so. I think
an exterior with content. I think it's a dumpling. I think
so too. By this logic too, a burrito is also a dumpling.
That's very disturbing to think about.
It's a little bit weird, right? It's just a very, very big one. Okay, so we're saying yes.
Yes, we are saying yes. We are doing
so wrong. No, here's the thing is I think that we are just actually thinking about it, whereas other people are just going by what they think is appropriate. Do you know what I mean? Like they're just going with their gut instinct around like, no, a calzone's not a dumpling. Like we just thought it out.
Caps, you know what we're doing? We're just showing that we are apart from the people.
I guess so. So for those listening, only
Above the people, I
12%
might add.
believe that a calzone is a dumpling. 88%
crazy.
believe that a calzone is just a calzone.
This,
Is a Pop-Tart a
Whoa.
ravioli?
Whoa.
Can I just tell you really quick? I used to get unfrosted Pop-Tarts at my grandmother's house, the brown sugar and cinnamon, and then blueberry and strawberry. Blueberry and strawberry were not my favorites. The brown sugar and cinnamon was amazing. But
Okay.
we would get unfrosted ones and she would toast them and they would be like slightly burnt because she knew I liked it like that. And then she would put a whole bunch of butter, just like super salty, delicious Amish butter on top. Man, that was good stuff. My gram knew what was what.
Is it a ravioli?
I'm
Ravioli.
going to say no. I'm going to say no only because ravioli to me seems like it's pasta only. And like you would ask the question about, can a dumpling be prepared in all these different ways? Can it be baked? Can it be, and I think that yes, you can have a baked dumpling. You can have a baked, or I'm sorry, you can have, so I'm trying to think of like, can ravioli be made of anything but pasta dough? And this is not pasta dough. So I'm going to say no.
I'm also going to say no. And
For the same
I'm
reason?
offended by the question, actually. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. At least we got this right. Is a Pop-Tart a ravioli?
They're coming around to us. They're coming around.
Is pizza a pie?
So the dough is a pizza pie, but is pizza a pie? That's the question here.
Wait, I'm sorry. So you're just saying dough, this kind of dough rolled out in a circle is a pizza pie?
Yes.
Without anything on it?
Correct.
Also, I just want to point out, this pizza doesn't have any sauce on it. So is this technically a flatbread? Oh, maybe it has a white sauce.
I think it has like yeah. What is a flat? Okay,
I'm
what is
actually
a
a big
flatbread?
fan. I'm actually a big fan of tomato sauce. Like, I would prefer it when people get white pizzas and stuff, or just like olive oil. I'm always like, oh, you're missing out on such a good, acidic, tasty part. What did you say?
What is a flatbread relative to a pizza? Like is it a type of pizza?
I think a flatbread is pizza without the sauce. I think it's the same kind of dough as like a thin crust pizza, not a, one of these. This is maybe like more of a pan pizza. That's I mean, I don't know.
Presumably a flatbread doesn't have to have any toppings. Like I could just get a flatbread and then people like pizza it up.
That is a good question. I actually don't know.
Okay.
Thank goodness it's not. Well, we don't know that it's on the quiz or not. Okay, so what do we think? Is pizza pie, yes or no? I think I'm ambivalent.
I think I'm going to go with yes, it is, because it's the fundamentals are there. Okay, well,
Wrong.
Just
34% say yes, 66 say Alan sucks.
Stupid.
Ooh,
that's not what
is deep dish pizza a pie? So I am actually more likely to say that deep dish pizza is a pie. Also, I just want to make a note. This is not deep dish. This is actually stuffed crust pizza.
Oh, point it out, Caps. Point it out.
Which is my favorite kind of pizza. When people are like, deep dish Chicago pizza, I'm always like, ugh, no. Stuffed pizza is actually where it's at, where the cheese and the toppings are inside. And then again, a very delightful sauce is on top. This is actually the way to go. Eduardo's Pizzeria.
I'm consistent here. My logic's the same with with this.
So we're that it is a pie, not that it's not a pie, right?
Yeah, that's a stupid.
Means
I don't like this. I don't like this designation here.
Okay, so 58% of people did say yes, it is a pie. All right, good. At least they know. Okay, getting down to the nitty gritty here. Is chili a soup?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not open for debate. Are you going to debate?
I think we should also talk about the fact that this chili has chunks of sweet potatoes in it.
It's you know what it is?
Which seems a little bit weird.
It's people doing too much and they're ruining chili.
I mean, I am all for different kinds of beans. I'm all for lentils in chili. I am.
Big glop of orange blocks in the middle of your chili? No, thank you.
No. No, no, thank you. I have made a veggie chili that has the same, the sort of like mirepoix, the base of carrot,
fancy.
celery,
What's
onion.
this one?
Definitely a good base for any sort of soup or stew or braising liquid that you're trying to use. And
Raising
I
it.
don't think I would do sweet potato, even
Yeah,
in a veggie chili.
I think it's
But,
just absolutely too much.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say I think chili's a soup.
Let's go. Come on. Who's gonna say no?
Yes. Yes.
Wow, that's a lot closer than I thought.
Oh, I mean, like, I don't know. This election. Is stew a soup? Yes.
Same principle. Why
Yes.
would stew be a soup? I guess do people say it needs to be more liquidy?
Okay,
Yeah,
so wait, let's compare this. Is chili a soup? 54 yes, 46 no. Is stew a soup? 68 yes, 32 no. Which one are you actually more surprised by? The tightness in this race or the looseness of this race?
The looseness of the stew.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Right?
think it's staggering.
Isn't it obvious?
I think so. We think so.
Are sandwiches burgers? What the fuck? No, but burgers
No.
are sandwiches. Ugh,
That's exactly
no.
right. Exactly right. Oh, good. Good.
Idiots.
Oh, here we go.
Are burgers sandwiches?
Well
Here we
done,
go.
Caps.
100%. Yes. This is absurd. This is absurd. This is absurd. This is absurd.
Who would say
Barring
that?
correct answer, do you consider tomatoes a fruit? I do not.
You don't think you don't, I guess I do consider them a vegetable, even though I know
Correct.
they're
And that's
sure.
what I think it's asking.
Yes, I think that.
I think it's asking, wait, do you consider tomatoes a fruit? Negative. Negatory. God.
Stupid BuzzFeed. Okay.
I mean,
that seems
honestly,
reasonable.
if you do, then ketchup is a jam.
Oh, here we go.
And finally, if tomatoes are a fruit, is ketchup a fruit?
Ketchup cannot be a fruit. No.
It cannot be a fruit
No.
because it's vinegar based.
Yes, it's totally processed differently.
In no way.
In no way at all.
In no way. But I would actually be totally fine with saying that ketchup is somehow a fruit spread if tomatoes are a fruit.
Fruit spread.
So that was our quiz.
Caps, we can't see you. There you are.
No, I'm here. I think when I do it on the Chromebook, when I share my screen, I go away.
Oh.
That was delightful and
was fun.
really infuriating because everyone is wrong.
Like, I have to say, disappointed in the people that voted on this. Not surprised by the people
I
being
think
disappointed.
this is an issue with the selection of BuzzFeed quizzes. Like these are who's online taking one of these BuzzFeed quizzes. You know, the last time I took BuzzFeed quizzes like as a thing, it was when I had a like stupid job that I didn't care about, and I just. Well, I mean, my job wasn't stupid, but there was just so much time where I would just be like, okay, I'm just sitting at my desk doing nothing.
BuzzFeed quiz.
Waiting for my next assignment. I guess I'll take this BuzzFeed quiz. And I guess that was such a long time ago.
Back
I mean,
in the day.
I actually feel like maybe I'm actually remembering wrong, and like BuzzFeed hadn't even existed because that's how long ago it was. This is like
Caps,
my first job.
We have to, on this podcast, do some Sporkle.
What is that?
Sporkle, the trivia quiz website.
I don't know anything about this.
Oh,
okay,
Caps.
maybe next week.
Next week we're gonna.
Check us out. Next week we're gonna Sporkle.
The world's largest trivia quiz website, and I'm gonna tell you, you are going to love the time wasted on this thing.
All right, I dig it. What was the time waster we used to do at University of Chicago?
GeoGuessr.
Oh,
So one of our finest moments.
We got so close.
It was incredible.
It was amazing. It was somewhere in like, I'm sorry. Let me take a step back. For those that are not aware, GeoGuessr is a game in which the program gives you a picture, like a Google Street image that you can manipulate as you would, going up back and forth and all that kind of stuff. And you have to pinpoint where in the world, the whole wide world, that picture has been taken. And I think you get like five guesses or something. Is that what it is?
No. So there's
you get one guess.
You get one guess, but you can spend as much time, unless you set up a timer,
I actually
on
feel like we
figuring it
spent
out.
kind of a lot of time doing
We
it.
spent like 45 minutes.
But this was at the University of Chicago late one night. I think all the kids had left. And like you and I, maybe we had just finished a workshop or something, and we were sitting there playing GeoGuessr, just like killing time for no reason. Maybe I just like didn't want to go home yet because I didn't want to drive through the traffic. And it was some weird Scandinavian city, and I can still remember there was like a divided highway.
Yes.
And you turned off of it, and then you were in this what looked like a forest preserve. There were just like trees going back and forth, but then there were people's houses, so it wasn't a forest preserve, but it had that vibe to me.
We have the picture still. Oh, I have the picture still, the screenshot.
We'll have to find it.
Oh, it was maybe our finest hour.
Okay. Well, maybe one day we'll do a Sporkle, and then the day after we'll just do one round of GeoGuessr. Or the week after we'll do one round of GeoGuessr, and if people like it, we can keep playing. It's a good,
Great game.
I feel like we narrowed it down because we could see the street signs, and we could see there was a language that was a little bit weird.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, that weird little Viking symbol can't be in Majorca.
Oh, God.
There's only 2 places in the world where Vikings put weird knot signs in the middle of their words.
It was excellent.
It was good. It was really good. I feel like that was actually the last time I played. Did we play again after that?
I play regularly.
No, I mean you and I played.
Oh, no. We
Gotta
one hit wondered that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So if we play again, it might get serious. We might have a 45-minute long episode where it's really just 40 minutes of us playing GeoGuessr.
No, not opposed to a game night.
Sounds good.
Whitney,
Alan.
recommendations. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I will recommend a lovely, delightful show that I saw on Amazon Prime called Truth Seekers. It has some continuity issues when you get later in the season. Not continuity, that's not what I mean. A little bit of just like over explanation, we'll say. And it's just really good. It's really delightful. It's
comedy,
cute.
right?
It's weird. It's a comedy, but it's also like a horror sci-fi kind of thing too.
Okay.
There's a flaming ghost. There's a weird cult leader that wants to take everyone to this celestial plane called Eternus. There's a World War II signal person stuck in a weird old basement radio. It's very weird, which I really dig. And I just thought it was really good. I just finished it this week, and it was a lot of fun. Oh, it's from Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg, a la Shaun of the Dead, and what was the one where he was the cop? I don't know. It's gonna bother me that I can't remember that, but yeah, Simon Pegg makes a lot of just like really silly comedies. And this was one of those, and it was really good.
Did you know that Simon Pegg's name is not Simon Pegg?
What is it?
Simon John Beckingham.
I wonder where he got Peg from.
I'm so confused about this.
Oh, Hot
Stepfather.
Fuzz. Hot Fuzz, that was it.
He took the
I'm
surname
looking
of
him
the
up right now.
stepfather.
Also, he was in the Mission Impossible movies.
Oh, he's in many of them. He's been.
You know what's funny is he's actually quite handsome when you see him in real life. I mean, he has what is like clearly the most circular head I've ever seen. But he's actually quite handsome in real life. He never looks handsome in his movies. Oh, he was also in the new Star Trek series, I believe. He was the Scotty. And he was also in he played the father figure in, oh my gosh, it's another Amazon series. Oh, The Boys.
Oh, people like that show.
The Boys is also quite good. I think you should watch it. Second season had some trouble, but still very watchable. Very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Double recommendation there from you. I like that.
There you go. Just go get Amazon Prime.
I was watching some things earlier on the old Amazon Prime. Very underappreciated. And many of you are probably already paying for it.
They've got some originals. Yes, you are probably already paying for it, so you might as well watch it. Also, you can get really great add-ons. You can get like one of the movie channels, like an add-on for $4.99 or something.
That's really good.
Moose, can you hear him?
Of course.
He's dreaming about something.
Dreaming it. It sounds hot.
I guess. Or bad. I don't know if he's in pain. Okay, go ahead. What's your recommendation, Alan?
My recommendation is a very specific one.
Okay.
You need to go and spend some time over the next break, probably between when you're eating copious amounts of food and not spending time with your family, to clean your shades and blinds.
Yeah.
They're gross, okay? And you probably don't dust enough, and so you should probably dust in general. But if in particular, especially as you're going and adjusting things, they're gross, they're disgusting. It's going to take you a long time.
Can I add something to your recommendation?
Please.
Your ceiling fan.
Oh my God, just horrific. Just horrific.
You really need to do your ceiling fan.
And I don't mean just a little like Swiffer thing. You need to like get up there, water, soap, and you need to clean that off.
Yeah.
You should also be having that fan rotate the opposite way for the winter.
You should, because, well, unless you're me and your apartment gets like ridiculously hot.
So. Which I would like, but.
Radiator heat. There's pluses and minuses. I have the driest skin all the time.
Ain't what it cracked up to be. A skin joke.
Alan, where can the people find us?
They can find us on the YouTube's channel, Split the Difference, 'cast. You can email the show at splitthediff@gmail.com. And of course, you can get us on Twitter at splitdiffcast, and keep sending in your suggestions and ideas. Are we doing a show next week?
I think we should. I mean, I'm not going to my family's house for Thanksgiving.
Also true. All right, we'll do a show
maybe
next week.
We do like a, I don't know, Friday. We'll
record. I guess they won't. Yeah, sure. I mean, they won't know.
Oh, it doesn't. Yeah, you don't know what day it is.
You don't know.
Yeah, but I'm not working Friday.
Okay. I will also not work, maybe, and I think I also have the day off. So.
Oh, well, good. You should.
Oh, thank you. I deserve it.
I mean, who's going to answer an email? For the people that do like the kind of work that we do, you should not be working, because what are you going to get done?
I agree with you, but here's the thing. You could put yourself in a power play position. I know we're going long, but hear me out here. When you are in a communication back and forth, you want to be the person that has sent the communication and is waiting for the reply. That is the power play position. When you're in a game of phone tag, you want to call with someone you don't want to talk to, and I may be revealing too much for people that know me, but you want to call when you know that person's busy. So you know they're not going to answer, and you are now in the power play position. So that if things fall off,
or you could just like call them so you can have the conversation you need to have and then not have to worry about it anymore.
Now what if I don't want to talk to them? Same thing with the email. You want to email them. No one's around. I've done my job. I've lobbed that in there.
Terrible.
It's in your inbox. It's backed up. I've done my job.
Alan, it's a good show.
It was a great show.
You need to stop doing that.
Because I've done my job. I'm in the power play position.
Okay,
Triple P.
He's way too excited, everyone.
3 Ps.
Until next week.
Have a great and restful Tuesday.
That's right.
And Wednesday.
And Thursday.
I didn't say that.
I did.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Ciao.